and welcome to the Beauty Know-It-All. I've got a guest and I'm really excited. This is Grace Timothy, who... How long have we known each other? We've known each other digitally a long time, but we actually only met fairly recently, didn't we?
Except for my first day as a beauty intern at New Woman.
Oh, I don't remember this. This is going to be embarrassing.
So no, it's lovely. At Sarah Jessica Parker's first perfume launch, in somewhere along that road from Victoria, very lovely building, and I was standing waiting and had that imposter syndrome just burning through my face, and was just like, I don't know even how to get in here. There's lots of security people everywhere, and you just walked in, strutted in, and went straight up to the PR. And as you walked past me, went, I love your lipstick, and I died because I was like, that's Nadine Baggott. And then I sort of followed you in like this, like she seems to know where we're going.
What colour was your lipstick?
It was like a bright fuchsia.
Yeah, because I always have a nude lip. Anyway, what we're here to talk about is Gracie's book, which is completely brilliant.
Also fuchsia.
I know, MumFace. Now, I originally got to know Grace because she had a YouTube channel called MumFace for a while, Mum Grace, and I just loved everything about her. Honest, open, outspoken, trained beauty journalist, tells it like it is. I love somebody that tells it like it is. Tell me why you wrote the book.
For all those reasons.
Yes.
Just to be honest about motherhood and my experience and the identity crisis that I think that no woman is immune to once you've had a kid. And to own that space of like, actually, without caveat, this is really hard. This was really hard on me, and I felt harmed by the experience. And I love my daughter. I love being a mum. It is amazing, but it doesn't mean that there isn't a side plate of like, wow, where did I go?
Harmed, physically harmed, emotionally harmed.
Yeah, all of it.
Every bit.
Yeah, because every little bit that defines you as a person is unravelled a little bit. So your friends kind of disappear for a little while. You're supposed to make new ones. That's really difficult. You know, your relationship is of course affected. Your body is affected. Your self-image is affected, and just your like daily routine is completely obliterated. So everything that you use to identify yourself is just like, and you have to build someone new up. And you have this creature that you have never felt like that about anyone before, and you need to raise them as you kind of raise yourself. So the pressure is huge, the guilt is huge. And I think the thing is that those conversations are quite often difficult to have, because we also have to say, but we're very lucky, we know how lucky we are, we're in a privileged position. And so you don't then own those feelings of discomfort. And I kind of wanted to say it's all right to own those feelings actually. And if you do feel damaged, this will pass and you will feel great, you know, a little while in.
If you don't follow Grace, you need to follow her on Instagram, not least of all because her Insta stories are hilarious. And you just did the, what do you call it? The audio version of this.
Yeah.
Where basically Grace has to talk through getting pregnant, what it did to her body, giving birth, what it did to her body, the recovery. But to a collection of, are they called audio digital engineers, who were men who were really young.
So so the first guy, Jack, I think he was about 23.
Hashtag pray for Jack.
He started off and he was so enthusiastic and bubbly and like, oh my gosh, and he thought it was a parenting guide, I think. So he was like, how interesting, I have no experience in this area. And then within a few pages, I'm talking about my vagina, because that's what I do. And I could just see him through the glass being like, and then his head just got lower and lower and closer to the table as we went on. He was so sweet. And then at the end, he gave me a massive hug and said, you've been through so much. He was so sweet and kept saying, this is informative. I didn't know this. This is brand new information for me. It was lovely. But
informative stroke traumatising.
Yeah, he was completely traumatised.
Now, one of the things that we have a bonding moment over is because you own your stretch marks.
Yes.
And I own my stretch marks. And when I said that I was going to film about stretch marks, so many people said, please talk about them, please get them out, please show them, please talk about what works and what doesn't work. And then I want to talk about my experience of stretch marks and your experience of stretch marks. So I am 5'11", I'm a size 10 to 12. I've been the same size my whole life, and I got stretch marks when I was about 13. And I found it really traumatic to get them, because you're at that age where puberty is about to start and you've got all that going through your head, but also suddenly you look down literally overnight. I remember going to bed and my skin itching quite a lot when I was younger, which I know is what happens when you're pregnant. And it was the same time that my knees were aching and my hips were aching, because I went through this massive growth spurt. And then literally one day looking down and seeing this rash of white stretches all over, stretches as I call them now.
They started off white?
Oh,
that's
yes.
Really interesting.
Because basically that's fundamentally different to because my body was only going gradually, a little bit at a time. With pregnancy, your body grows hugely. So they start off white and they stay white. Totally fine silver. And we're going to get them out and show them to you. Totally white, thin stretch marks that run that way across my hips and my thighs. And then as I started to get a bottom, they went that way and across my bottom and down my thighs. And I am the tallest person in my family, tallest person in my year at school, went to a huge comprehensive school. Nobody else really had them. And so I went through life feeling really conscious and hating them. And I was that way until I was on a shoot at a magazine. So by that time I was nearly 30. And I saw that loads of models had them because they're all really tall and that they just get airbrushed out. And I was working with this really beautiful model and we were doing a foot and hand sort of sparry type thing. And she opened her legs and she had them all across her inner thighs. And I suddenly thought, oh, and then, heaven of heavens, I met Beyonce and she had them all over her breasts. And I could see them in her low-cut dress.
Yeah.
Sorry, Beyonce, I'm outing you. And nowadays I think people talk about them and own them. But in the 70s and 80s when I was growing up, nobody talked about them. So what's your experience? Because you are tiny.
I just grew really massive. I was huge, like to the point where people thought I was having twins at the end.
So this is when Grace was pregnant.
Oh, sorry, yeah. So
I never had a stretch mark growing up at all?
No.
You were the best friend I hated.
Well, no, I mean, I don't know. I think there were lots of other things going on. There was a lot of spots and things like that. But no, so I got pregnant and my mum immediately was like, got me bio oil. And I'm like, oh, can you edit this? Can I say brands?
Oh, you can say bio oil.
Okay,
I took bio oil down.
Okay, good.
Bio oil down on national TV once.
Yes, I remember.
When Philip said to me, but surely bio oil will work. And I went, and then we went to hard news and everybody just went, what's wrong with bio oil?
So that was like the first thing she got me was what to expect when you're expecting the book and the bio oil. And she was like, get started now, you must do it. And she was an aromatherapist, so she's always encouraged me to use oils anyway. And she has no stretch marks. And I think she used Johnson's baby oil, interestingly. And so I got rubbing. It made me feel physically sick to touch my stomach because I was so ill with pregnancy. So I hated every second of it. I ruined countless slippers and rugs and God knows what else. But I persevered. And then about 2 weeks before my daughter was born, a red little like snake tongue came out the top of my belly button piercing.
Yeah.
And then below. And then within 3 days, my whole bump was covered in red, quite wide angry lines that really itched. Then I got bumps in each line, and then I got it, they bled, so they cracked all the way. And I went to a dermatologist friend, and he was like, you've got PEP, which is polyeruption of pregnancy.
Yes.
And inflammation of the stretch marks, basically. And then she was born, and it actually continued for a while after, for about a month.
Well, you can get stretch marks when skin shrinks back again. People get stretch marks when they lose weight because it's basically just a trauma in the collagen. The collagen, which is the deepest elastic fibres in the skin, basically grow and grow and grow, and then they can't grow anymore and they split. And what you see is the stretch mark is basically a little bit of a sort of hole that goes deep into the skin. And if it's really bad, you see the blood underneath. And if it's not that traumatic, then what you just see is you see the elastin and the collagen fibres ripped underneath. So they tend to fade. Yours sounds very similar to what my mum has. So my mum is tiny like you, exactly the same build as you, but shorter than you. And she has a tummy full of them. So I was always really conscious of them. And it was my mum that first pointed them out to me in a way that only mum can one day, and just went, oh, you're getting stretch marks, dear. For me, I was just tall, and for you, we're just carrying another human being.
So true. So weirdly, I didn't get any anywhere else. It was just there, because I was very swollen everywhere. But and they calmed down. I couldn't put anything on them to begin with because I was breastfeeding, so I just left it. And then as time went on, I was so angry with everyone who had made me use oil and had told me that it was going to be fine because of it, that I actually was, every time I got sent something, I was like, no, I can't. I couldn't even have that conversation. And then that anger turned into a strident, not pride. I'm not proud of them. Like they don't remind me of anything good necessarily. My daughter reminds me of that pregnancy was worthwhile. I don't need that. But just to be like, screw you, actually. Like, this happened because I carried my child.
Another human being.
Yeah, and hurrah. But I don't need that. And I don't need that pressure to share with other women that we shouldn't have those marks. So when it came to, do you want to talk about how you're going to get rid of them? I was like, no, I'm not going to get rid of them, actually.
Oh, that's really interesting, you see, because the first thing that people said to me when they knew we were going to do this is, tell me what works. And I will start by saying, I don't think there's anything you can do to prevent getting stretch marks. I would love to say it's hereditary, but your mum hasn't got them. But I suppose in a way you don't know if your grandmother has them, because you can inherit it from both sides. I'm the only one. My mum had them really badly, and yet my sister, who's tiny, didn't get any at all. I think she's got maybe one tiny little white one on her hip, and yet her daughter, who's built like a supermodel and is fairly tall, she got them slightly, but they've faded away to nothing. So my mum and I have got the worst ones in our family, but mine are different because mine aren't pregnancy ones. And I've thrown everything at mine. As a beauty editor at the forefront of testing things, I have tested retinol body creams, lactic acid body creams, glycolic body creams. I even went through one summer of having micro needling, which is the single most uncomfortable thing you can ever have done. They never let the anaesthetic cream stay on long enough, so it was really uncomfortable. Yeah. Did absolutely nothing. But you don't want to get rid of yours.
It's not that I don't want to get rid of them. It's almost like I can't be bothered because of all the other things that I've got going on. And it made me cross that I would have to put a time aside to do that in a way. Do you know what I mean? And I think because also no one sees them really. My husband's got used to them in the same time frame as I have, and he's the only person who probably sees them.
How old's your daughter now?
5.
Okay.
5.5.
Yeah.
She loves, like, my tummy's really soft now. It's very squishy and soft, and they've turned into almost like wrinkles. So my feeling is like I feel like I prematurely aged very quickly. And so that was something to go over.
Better to have wrinkles on your tummy than on your face. Do you wear a bikini?
No, but I never was a bikini girl, really. Okay. I think maybe.
So if you wear a swimming costume, you can just cover them up, can you?
Oh yeah, completely.
Because I couldn't cover mine up in a swimming costume because mine are on the sides of my legs. I tell you, the thing that made me come to terms with it was knowing that real famous women have them. So I do think for every Christy Teigen that puts a picture of her stretch marks out there, for any woman that whoever, I follow people on Instagram now because I feel that if you curate your feed, it can be a really life enhancing experience and empowering experience. It doesn't have to be perfectly airbrushed people the whole time. And I think for every woman that owns having stretch marks and talks about this, including us, you have to realise that it's the norm. It's not unusual. It's so totally common. If you waved a magic wand though, would you get rid of them?
No, I don't think I would.
That's really empowering because I would.
I think I'm not being
at my age, and I'm how old are you?
34.
Okay, so I'm 21 years older than you. That obviously means I still, at some level, have not come to terms with mine.
But maybe because it happened at a different time where you are like forming your identity and all those things are kicking off at the same time. And it's harder to come to terms. Whereas I feel like my days of dancing around in a crop top were over a long time ago, and I'm good with that. And, you know...
Whereas I feel my days of dancing around in a crop top are still ahead of me.
Well, I'd say they should be. I just think, I think it is a decision to make. Are you going to own them and like we are going to show them? I feel like that's more valuable than saying, I tried everything and look, they've slightly diminished.
Yes. I am actually... if I can get around to doing it, I'm going to test a couple of things, and I asked if you wanted to test them and you said yes, but I don't think you really do want to test it, do you?
Well, I'm interested to see if it's going to be helpful and someone else will then get rid of theirs, great, but I just don't see any promise.
I'm going to try some laser treatments because I suppose since the one thing that's happened, sorry, our chairs rubbing together, the one thing that's happened in the time that I've been a beauty editor is that lasers have come along, and people are absolutely convinced, if you've watched Kim Kardashian having her boob stretch marks lasered. So yeah, amazing. So basically there is a fractional carbon dioxide resurfacing laser, and there's needle radio frequency. So basically the fractional carbon dioxide laser basically fires microscopic needles of really hot carbon dioxide to the skin that basically drills holes into the skin. It's quite uncomfortable. But basically it resurfaces the skin. And then the radio frequency one puts tiny needles into the skin and then puts radio frequency in. The whole idea is basically to shock the skin into creating new collagen, which is harder at my age than at your age. But I think I should test one. But I love the fact that you own them. I would like to say, with regards to the bio oil thing, I've got nothing personally against bio oil. Bio oil is a really well formulated body oil, but it cannot prevent you getting stretch marks. And the only thing you can do if your stretch mark is red is fade it back to silver. And really any hyperhydrating cream or lotion, you could put bog standard silicone on your skin. In fact, there is a brilliant range of products from Boots called Remascar, and they are literally silicone sticks, and what you do is you put the silicone on the top. It's like a thick deodorant kind of silicone. You put it on the top, and all that does is seal the top of your skin so that the skin underneath gets moist, more and more and more and more and more moist. And then basically it's the same as silicone sheetings you can get on operation sites, and that encourages the skin to heal. But when I say heal, the stretch marks go from red to white. They might shrink that way if you're lucky, but they are never going to go completely without the help of a laser. And even then, I say that with the proviso that I need to try the laser because I've still got them. And actually, maybe to a degree, the fact that I've been a beauty editor for 25 years, this technology has been around for 3 years, and I still haven't actually been asked, literally or figuratively, to get my arse down to have the treatment means maybe I'm okay with them.
I think you are, because you're talking about them as well. It's not a shameful secret or anything like that.
But I do think it's just seeing it reflected back. I'll say this again about you being a mum, about me being 55, about body positivity, about every single Asian or black woman out there that feels invisible. You just need to see yourself reflected back. And all I need to do is see enough women stand up, take their trousers down and say, this is what stretch marks look like. That's all you need.
I feel like we're in a position where we can show ours, and that might help with the conversation.
Yes.
But I feel like there will still be people who just want to get rid of them, and that's cool as well. So to be able to offer something that is going to work to a degree, then that's really empowering as well. I'm
going to put a list of all the products below that I think can help fade red stretch marks. And you've got nothing to lose by using vitamin E, and it's supposedly the vitamin E that is the key active ingredient. Some vitamin E hydrating moisturisers when you are pregnant, if you are pregnant and watching this. But at the end of the day, I think there's not a lot that can be done to prevent them, and let's test the 1 or 2 lasers that might be able to get rid of them. So this is Grace Timothy. This is her amazing book.
Thank you.
It's so funny. If you are pregnant, should you read it if you're pregnant?
I don't know. I've been thinking about it recently. I don't know. I think yes.
Should we wait till afterwards?
It has a happy ending in the end. Yeah. There is one chapter that's really tricky to read, and well, I find it really tricky to read and to write, that probably isn't very helpful. But it's entitled The Worst News. Just skip that one until you've got a little bit of distance from it. The rest of it, I mean, it's supposed to be empowering. It's supposed to be something that
inclusive.
Inclusive, and be like that mate going, it'll be fine, you'll be all right.
Yeah. Also, it's really, really, really funny, as
filthy.
is Grace. It's filthy, but not in a 50 Shades way.
No, God, no. I mean, I wish.
It's available now, and like I said, follow Grace on Instagram because she is very, very, very funny.
Helps.
In the meantime, just remember that Beyonce's got them because I've seen her boobs close up.
Yeah.
I shall post a picture of me with Beyonce where I look down her dress. Because she had this little cutaway dress. She was really young at the time, and I had a little cutaway dress, and I went straight in and put my arm around her middle, and she had a cutaway dress, and she's got this look in her eyes that says security. Get this woman away from me. I've never washed the hand since, or whichever hand it was. I can't remember which side it was now. And I looked down and I could see her stretch marks through the top of her dress, and it made me love her even more. Right, this is Grace Timothy. Told you you'd love her. This is her amazing book, and there's going to be a website, which by the time this comes up, will be live, although at the moment it's not. It will be at... Oh,
I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I think it will be mum-face.com.
Okay, but I will put it in, because what that's going to be is a collection of Grace's musings, Grace's writing about being a mum. It's an honest, open, inclusive space in a world where I think one too many mummy bloggers and vloggers are just trying to make it all seem a bit perfect.
It's definitely not perfect, yeah. Okay, as you will see from the stretch mark photos.
Below I'm going to put all the details of all the sites and how to get hold of Grace's book, but also I think my top 4 or 5 products that if you are going to try and prevent getting stretch marks, or you're going to try and heal your stretch marks from red to white, that I think work. There are no miracles, sadly. And speak to you soon. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.